My last name is Lee.
Talanoa.
Ever mai, and tune in to our podcast, Larinoa Podcast. Everyone following us in our social media page is going to be listening to this on Radio Nukolofa. I have the pleasure, as always, to have the High Commissioner for Australia here in the Kingdom of Tonga, His Excellency, Mr. Brek Batley. Welcome back.
Thank you, Lala. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah, well, the reason why I've asked to have you back on the show, you've been doing some traveling. And probably my first question is, can you share your thoughts on the recent visit of His Majesty King Tupou VI and Queen Nanasipau'u to Australia and the signing of the Kaume'a Ofi agreement?
Yeah, well, this was a really special visit, and I was honoured and privileged to be part of it. We went back to Canberra and Sydney on a one-week visit with their Majesties. And I can assure you, Lala, the ceremony at Government House in Canberra was just beautiful. The last time there was a meeting there was in 1979 between their Majesties and our Governor-General. So it was very historic, getting together like that with our tri-service, our Army, our Navy, and Air Force Federation Guard lined there on the lawns in front of the lake in Canberra with the Tongan flags flying. It was really a special moment in our relationship. And the visit also included meetings with our acting Prime Minister, the Honourable Richard Marles, who is our Defence Minister. So there were a lot of conversations about our very close defence partnership. And also visits to health centres, the Garvan Institute, which does incredible research that will benefit all Pacifica countries on DNA and how we solve diseases like diabetes. And of course, Her Majesty visited the Kirby Institute, which and she's an incredible patron and advocate for eliminating cervical cancer, which is something that can absolutely be done for young girls and women with the HPV vaccine. And there were other moments like the church service. Oh my gosh, I know there's beautiful singing here in Tonga, but all the Tongan team came out from all corners of Australia to come to the church service in Sydney and sung the roof off the St. Stephen's Uniting Church. And that was beautiful with Reverend Carissa Sooley leading the congregation. And of course, as you mentioned, we signed a statement of intent on Kaume'a Ofi, on being what is already a really close friendship and one we both want to take further. And that's what the statement of intent was. How do we, over the next few months, think about our partnership for the next 55 years? Yeah. The trip celebrated 55 years of diplomatic relations, but what it most importantly did was thinking, how do we get even closer, build closer support to each other over the next 55 years, and that's what Kaume'a Ofi will do for both of us.
You spoke about the signing of the Kaume'a Ofi, and my next question is, how do you see the relationship between Tonga and Australia evolving in the next few years, particularly in regards to cooperation in the areas of trade, education, health, and security?
Yeah, all of those areas are so important. We want all of our economies to be as strong and resilient and prosperous as possible, and it has to involve private sector-led activity, and that's certainly some of the work we're doing here already in agriculture, in the business enabling environment, in critical infrastructure. I'm so pleased that the Queensalota International Wharf will be opened on October 31 officially in a wonderful ceremony as part of the November 4th celebrations. I mean, that's about opening up trade, making it easier for businesses and cheaper for businesses over time. But when we think about our partnership going forward, it's not just private sector development and economic. It absolutely is about the well-being and health and safety of populations. How do we work on health over the next 20 years together? Australia's already has a 2-decade partnership in health in Tonga, looking at everything from non-communicable diseases to efficient systems in health to sexual and reproductive health. How do we address some of the big challenges here together? Where do we put the extra financing into what areas of health? Is it in the outer islands? Is it here locally? So we want to work with the government on solutions to the tougher problems. In education, we're already a major contributor to the Safe and Resilient Schools project, improving schools across the country. But I think when we look forward a few decades, how do we strengthen those school systems and how do we bring closer integration with Australian schools? I know there's already a couple of schools here that use the New South Wales curriculum. How do we think about skills, that cross-qualification of skills in the region? And also on mobility. So areas like how do we make it easier for Tongans and Australians to visit each other? What does that look like? Is that around movement? Is that visas? Is that education in tertiary institutions? So all of these things, when we look forward 20 years, just as our relationship has grown so much in the last 10 years, it's just incredible how much closer we are and how much more we do together in the last 10 years, from energy and infrastructure through to border security and defence. In the next 20 years, I think you'll see a lot more questions on how do we integrate our systems, how do we build more operability between areas like defence. There's an exercise here right now called Exercise Pove, and it has 65 Australian soldiers here working side by side for 3 months with His Majesty's Armed Forces. And that's about building interoperability. And that's just in the defence sector. But I think you'll see that in lots of areas where we choose to work together.
I'm not sure if you saw the grand final on Sunday night, but one thing I didn't put on the last question was sports. I know Australia is heavily involved in developing and in evolving sports in Tonga, and I know the Kaume'a Tonga, exciting news for everyone. The team will be here next week, and just talk about the Australian relationship when it comes to sports in Tonga.
Yeah, well, Australia and Tonga share this in common, this love of sport, whether it's netball and the incredible rise of the Tullahs, whether it's rugby league, rugby union. I was just at the table tennis tournament the other day here. It was a load of fun. I encourage everyone to go out and play. We share it in common, and oh my gosh, the Tongan talent is just, is so eye-catching in every sport. And you only had to look at the finals series in the NRL women's and the NRL men's over the last 8 weeks. And what a game. I mean, my team is the Parramatta Eels, so just leaving that aside, the 11th position this year. That game last night, or Sunday night, both games, where, the Broncos won in the women's and in the men's.
And in the men's.
Clean sweep. Good to them. We'll be back next year. We invest $2 million every year in all the different sports here. And we want to see, and that's for 2 reasons. One, into junior pathways, junior opportunities, called our Team Up program. And that's about building character and leadership and, girls' empowerment and, different ways of thinking about life on the sports field. And then we've got bigger programs that are about elite pathways, supporting the national team. And in fact, we're supporting the Kaume'a Tonga to come back here next week, because we know they haven't been here since 2019. Yeah. And we want to see them beat Samoa, of course, on October 26th.
And you would have loved to see them beat the Kiwis again.
Yeah,
of course.
I guess there's 2 big games there. But, I looked at the statistics over the last, since 2010, I think there's been 8 games between Tonga and Samoa. Yeah. And Samoa's leading, I think 5-3.
Yeah. I think they led after and also the World Cup. I mean, they beat Tonga, so they are leading. So it'll be a big game in Brisbane.
Yeah, it will be a big game. And we've got the Tongan Police Band is flying out for it. We're spotting them to go out to the game, and I can't wait to hear them in the middle of the stadium in front of 40,000 crazy fans. Yeah.
The next question I have, you might have already touched on a few of the initiatives, but what are some key initiatives or projects that Australia government is currently involved in or planning to undertake in Tonga to strengthen bilateral ties?
Well, we've got so much going on. One of the big things we do that we don't talk about, too often is, of course, our direct budget support. That's increasingly a growing area of our partnership, where we give money direct to the Ministry of Finance to back the government's priorities. and there's been about over $140 million of that in the last 5 years. And that goes into everything from health, education, energy, whatever the government decides. But other areas, we just signed a cyber security cooperation MOU in Australia 2 weeks ago, and that signals that both of our countries face a serious challenge on cyber. All of our government systems, government data, our public services, our critical infrastructure face threats every day from criminals and state-based actors. And this is a recognition that our two countries can help each other in this space, and in one that's only going to get tougher. So you'll see more cooperation there. You'll also see in our health partnership, we're always looking for different ways to strengthen health outcomes for all Tongans in all islands. And it's Pinktober.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the pink lala, but maybe I don't have my glasses on.
The one time I should be wearing pink.
But, in Australia, over 20,000 women get identified with breast cancer every year. And I'm sure the statistics here are just as bad. I mean, it's the second biggest killer amongst women in Australia, cancer killer. So we're pleased to be supporting those efforts here for this month. But critical infrastructure is another big area that we're working in. The undersea cable going into Vavau, which hopefully will be open next year, gives resilience, economic resilience to Tonga, and enhances Tonga's sovereignty, in not just in communications, but in trade and in all spheres. And so that's a critical area. And same with the new Parliament House, which I see is just work has commenced. And I know in all areas of security, we're also looking at different ways we can build closer, more interoperable systems. And
you're right, Your Excellency, especially where the talk of budget support and the efforts towards sustainable development here in Tonga. But right now, when me and you are having this conversation, it's October, getting close to November, and getting close to the time where Tongans start to be on alert or be wary of cyclone season here in the Kingdom of Tonga. It leads on to my next question: how does Australia been supporting Tonga or plan to support Tonga when it comes to climate change and disaster resilience?
Yeah, one of our big new programs is with Maudi. It's a $10 million program across all of Tonga, and it's to help with climate resilient infrastructure and community priorities. So based on community development plans, this new program will support small-scale initiatives at the community level. And I think that's, you asked me before, what are some of the big priority areas going forward in the relationship? I mentioned some of the big ones, but what's really important are actually community-level development and locally led development. And that's why we expanded also our small grants program, DAP, which is open from next Monday. So encourage everyone to apply. So at the community level, we want to work on climate resilient infrastructure. We want to work on the mitigation efforts for Tonga's effort to get to 70% renewables by 2030. And that's why we're helping with the transition of the grid, the major grid here in Tongatapu, to renewables, and also why we're supporting the outer islands in getting renewable energy for the first time in a lot of islands. We've got those efforts. We've got mitigation and adaptation efforts on climate, but we're also trying to work together at the global stage, or the regional and the global stage. So Australia, of course, is a proud supporter of the Pacific Resilience Facility, this new facility. It's a really interesting one because this is the first of its kind. It's basically a bank, a regional bank dedicated to climate projects, of which the host is Tonga. And so it will be based here from next year. You'll see an office and everything open. And it will, Australia's already given $100 million into this new facility that will help with various climate projects in Tonga and across the region. And the other one internationally is how we work together in in the big international climate conferences, the biggest of which is COP. And next year, of course, Australia and the Pacific are hoping to host it. But Turkey is still, it also wants to host it. And so we're down to the final 7 weeks of negotiations with Turkey on just who will host it next year. If we can, we'd love it to be a chance to bring Pacific voices to this, incredibly difficult challenge to the global stage, and get global leaders here looking at climate impacts firsthand. And that's what the goal is.
And just probably adding on to that question is, in what way is Australia contributing to the Blue Pacific region progress towards a peaceful and stable future? And how does Tonga fit in that broader vision?
Well, this is a regional initiative, of
Yeah.
course, and you've got the Pacific, the 2050 strategy on the Pacific Blue Continent. And this is where all leaders work together every year, as we just saw in Honiara in September, in determining what is the best way to advance stability and prosperity for the region.
Yes.
And that's everything from more resilient economies in the face of more natural disasters. That's more trade integration, programs like PACER Plus that help build and take away trade barriers and increase trade. That's better critical infrastructure, including things like digital connectivity. How do we work across the region more efficiently in a digital world? And that's also in areas like aviation. How do we connect better between all our countries? But the other areas are really important around security, and the Pacific leaders have agreed that the Pacific should look after its own security in the first instance. It's our jobs as countries to look after our collective security. And so what does that mean in practice? That means initiatives like the new Pacific Policing Initiative, which is there's several centres of excellence around the region, 5 in fact, and the first group from Tonga went to Brisbane, as did groups from all other countries in the region for I think it was a 3-month training course, so that this new Pacific unit can help if a country needs them in future. If you need a surge of policing support, such as for the Pacific Games or elections or crises or whatever it might be, a big event, there's now a way that country can draw on each other's strengths and resources. And so that group of Tongans are coming back this Saturday after 3 months away in Brisbane doing that course along with other Pacific Islanders and Australians. So there's initiatives like that. There's some ones in the military space, the Pacific Response Group, where countries have decided let's work closer together, our militaries, to be able to support after natural disasters in a far more coordinated and interoperable way. And you'll see that in all sorts of other, from policing to border security to cyber. Our countries in the region are thinking, how do we make it more efficient and affordable, but also draw on each other's strengths? Because as a collective, amongst the 18 members of the Pacific Islands Forum, there's incredible knowledge and wisdom, experience in various different deployments, and we just need to tap into it.
My next question, I know every time we request an interview, you're always available. You get a lot of interaction with people. This one is actually about your role as High Commissioner. How do you see the role of the Australian High Commissioner in Tonga in fostering a closer tie between the two countries and promoting people-to-people connection?
Well, we've had a High Commissioner here since the 1970s. And during their Majesties visit in Australia, you've had a Consul General in Sydney since 1975. So we've had really close government-to-government relations since the 70s. But as we all know, our relationships dates way back into the 1820s when of course, John Thomas and John Hutchison and Walter Laurie came across, and King Tupou I went to Australia in Sydney in the 1850s. So there's a lot of history between our two countries that, as a High Commissioner and as a Consul General and a High Commissioner in Canberra for Tonga, that we collectively draw on. You ask what's the work of the High Commissioner or the goal of the High Commissioner? our office is entirely dedicated to bringing our countries closer together, where it makes sense, where there's opportunities to help each other, and where there's a way that we can work collectively with other countries in the region. It's an absolute pleasure of a job, because Australia and Tonga see eye to eye on so many issues. Tonga is one of the 3 Pacific Island countries with a military.
Yes.
We have a 40-year history of working together between our 2 militaries. So I mentioned a 20-year health partnership. All of these things are really important. They're all pillars in our partnership that we draw on every day. And as I say, all of the areas of our High Commission, our border security team, our defence team, our health team, our education team, our climate team, our political team, they're all looking at ways to work closer with their counterparts in Tonga. It's very simple. I know it doesn't, maybe it's not a sexy answer, but it's a very simple answer, is that, the world is changing, the region's changing as well, and we also need to adapt the ways that we work together. And that's why we do things like sign a new cyber MOU, because that will be an area that we have to work in better into the future.
My next question will be a chance for you to plug any of the initiatives. What are some upcoming events or initiatives that the Australian High Commissioners in Tonga are excited about, and how can the public get involved or stay informed?
Well, there's so much to be excited about just in the next month. My gosh. Next week we have, we've got 2 things happening. One is the Waratahs. Daniela Tupou is in town. I'm actually having a small event at my residence this evening. But I know he's involved in a number of community engagements over the next few days. They've come as part of a tour to gift equipment, sporting equipment here, and it's just so good to have him back here in Tonga, and also that long connection also with the Waratahs as well. The next week is the commissioning of the Latte, the landing craft ship for His Majesty's Armed Forces, and I'll be really pleased to see that vessel go into official operations, which will be incredible to support in natural disasters and any logistics across the country when in need. The other exciting one coming up is the Talas. So
having a game?
Yeah, the Talas are having the first ever home game in Tonga. So it'll be a 3-match series against the Australian under-23 team, halfways team. And the Queen has named the tour the Tala Tutone. And that will be, October 31 will be the first game. And then I think it's November 1 and then November 3. I think there'll be 3 games. So Tala's first ever. Imagine the feeling for the ladies as they
they've only seen it in their phones and the TV. Now I get to see the girls play. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is a special moment. You remember last year we brought the Queensland Reds women's team who played the Loafers, their first ever home game. So we're looking to make sure if you're serious about sports development in Tonga, you have to have home games for young women to be inspired, to follow, to identify with mentors and idols, and to follow in their footsteps.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner, Your Excellency, Mr. Brek Batley, for always saying yes to my request to have a conversation and inform the people. But lastly, I would, what message or words would you of encouragement would you like to share with the people of Tonga as we continue to build on a strong foundation and friendship and cooperation between the 2 nations?
Well, I think the most beautiful thing is seeing a relationship get closer and closer. And that's what we've seen over the last 10, 20 years between Tonga and Australia. And the signing of the Statement of Intent, Kaume'a Ofi, signals to both of our populations that this is a relationship that's going somewhere. It's not stagnant. It's not happy with where it was last year. It's saying that we've worked together extremely closely. We've built an even bigger partnership, and we want to take it to another level. And I think that says it all to all Tongans and all Australians that we're two countries that share eye to eye on many issues. And when we don't, we talk and we solve issues quickly. And we're always thinking forward 5-10 years. What are the challenges that will face our people? How can we start working on those now? And that's the sign of a true, genuine and effective partnership.
Thank you very much.
But I have a question for you.
Oh, well, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely I do. Yeah, it's the Live Light campaign this month.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's 3 phases coming up over the period.
Yep.
The first one is that you have to exercise 60 minutes.
Okay.
60 minutes, let's say a week.
For a week?
Yeah, let's say a week. Or it should be a day. It should be 60 minutes a day. 60 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It is 60 minutes a day, but I'm giving you a break and saying every week.
Yeah.
And then the next phase is on eating smaller portions.
Wow.
And then the final phase is on thinking about what the nutrition is in those portions. So let me ask you, what 60 minutes per day of exercise are you doing?
I go to the gym in the morning, but it's about 30 minutes, but not every day. So apart from that, do you count like sitting and having a conversation?
You can't count sitting.
It's like part of the 60 minutes.
Yeah, even moving your hands around like that.
I do this a lot when I talk on the radio.
That does not count. That does not count. You're going to have to start doing your radio while you're walking.
Yeah. Or stand.
Yeah, we can get a treadmill under the table.
Yeah. Okay, I will join. I will join.
I think you should.
Yeah, I'll do the every day. I'll do that every day. Yeah, 60 minutes. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, and then the next phase, as I said, is thinking about the portions size that we eat. I know I eat. I always go in for a second helping.
Yeah.
And then the third phase is thinking about what is the actual nutritional value of the things we're eating. Yeah. And that's where you can make a massive difference.
I have to say this, because since we're talking about being active, I was driving on the waterfront one afternoon. I think I had not so healthy something in my hand, and I was eating it, and I looked on the side of it didn't look good when I was looking on the side on the waterfront, and you were going for a run. So
I was running,
you were running
while you were eating a hot dog.
I was eating something. I'm not going to say what I was eating, but it wasn't that healthy, and I was driving in my aircon car, and I looked over the side of the road, and you're running, and I was like, oh, Brek runs.
Did that inspire you to go out for a run in the afternoon?
To get another thing to eat. No, it did. And I was like, man, if he's out on the road, maybe I should go out and go for a walk.
Well, exactly.
Start off with a light walk and then make my way to running.
Then eat the fried chicken afterwards. But no, it's a good reminder for us, though, isn't it? That if we're serious about health, you have to really think about what exercise you're doing and what you're putting into your body. And, and I know, as I said, our health partnership with Tonga is so deep and so extensive. And these are the sorts of things that we want to work on together.
60 minutes a day.
Yeah, not 50 or 40.
Yeah,
60.
That might be my new slogan for the radio. 60 minutes a day.
60 minutes a day.
Yeah,
that's right. All right, we'll send the treadmill to you.
Yes, and thank you very much for always being here. It's a pleasure every time.
Great to see you again.
Yeah. Ofatu.